We're in the spooky season at the moment, hence the darker lighting than usual. And to get in the real Halloween mood, this video might even be going up on Halloween itself. Whoa. I asked my audience to send in their scariest real ghost stories. So today, we're going to be reading some of those. Do not recreate, I opened a portal. What? Okay, I know I just said that these are real ghost stories, okay? They are unverified ghost stories from the mouth of my audience, okay? I'm not verifying any of these. You know, I have no reason to believe that these are lies. This is just very implausible. I opened a portal. Tell you what, where's my gavel? Oh, so yes, I am wearing Christmas pajamas in October. Don't judge me, all my rest were in the wash. Why don't you just wear actual clothes, George? Why don't you just wear joggers or jeans? I'm ill, all right? I've got a bad throat. Am I not allowed to wear my jammies when I'm ill? Am I not allowed to do that? Is a man not allowed to do that nowadays? Hi, George, you want paranormal? Oh boy, do I have a story for you. I wish I was joking. So a bit of context. Some members of my family can communicate with spirits. I know I sound like some granola gypsy. I've never heard that phrase before, a granola gypsy, but bear with me. So my gran can see spirits clear as day and talk to them, but she can switch it off. I think your nan might need some psychiatric help. What are you talking about? She can see spirits clear and stay and talk with them. No, she can't. My uncle, however, can't. Probably because he doesn't require psychiatric attention. He can see, talk, and learn full background info about these spirits from them. For example, he moved... Okay, right. So your uncle can't speak to them. Oh, wait. Your uncle can't switch off. Okay. He probably also needs psychiatric help. For example, he moved into a new house a good 10 years ago, and all of a sudden, a man spirit was stood in his hallway. The man spirit told him his age, name, and that he worked as a miner. My uncle looked up the information the man spirit gave him, and it was all true. Okay, this is creepy. But he could just be bullshitting. He could just be an absolute wind-up merchant. He could have just gone on ancestry.com and just found a random miner who died about 100 years ago and just said, oh, this guy came to my house and I looked him up on Ancestry and it's all true. What he said was all true. So back to my story. I seem to have a bit of this family gift. I can't see or hear these spirits, thank fucking God. I can sense where they are around me, kind of like you feeling someone watching you, but in an energy way. I get that sometimes. I don't think it's ghosts though. Or maybe it is. Ooh. Now, the house I grew up in was definitely haunted. Weird creaking, shadows in the hallways, doors slamming, the usual stuff, right? Well, I was 15 and we were painting the house, ready to sell it and move to our new house. Now, a few days before when we started the paint work, I was painting my bedroom with my uncle, and all of a sudden he turns the music up and has a strange look on his face. We take a break outside where my dad was painting the fence, and I asked my uncle what was wrong, and he asked me if I slept okay in that room. I told him I always felt like something was watching me. This was before I knew about the family gift. He asked me where I felt that feeling in the room coming from specifically, and I pointed to the window, the wardrobe, and the corner where my lamp stood. Right there, my uncle confirmed there was 3 spirits. Oh no, 3 of them. There were 3 spirits in my room, all in those exact places I had pointed. I think he's on a wind-up. I'm gonna be so honest, he's on a wind-up. He's rage baiting you. A couple of days later, me and my uncle were finishing painting the upstairs hallway, and he stopped to go out for a cigarette break and told me to keep painting. Now, I had recently been watching a TV show called Most Haunted and remembered something they did. You know, okay, look, I know I'm sounding a lot like a boring skeptic here, and I promise you I'm not. I have seen a ghost before. I do sort of believe in ghosts in a way, because I have seen one. And no, I'm not mental. No, I'm not in need of psychiatric help. Maybe it could have just been an overactive child imagination, but I'm pretty sure I saw a ghost. But Most Haunted is fake. I saw a clip of one of the main producers of Most Haunted come out and be like, yeah, everything we did was fake. Okay, from what I can deduce from this, you have a very overactive mind as a child because you watched too many episodes of Most Haunted, and your uncle is a certified rage baiter. Now, I warn you, do not copy this. Fuck, don't tell me what to do. I'll do what I want. If I want to open a portal in my house, I'll do it. I sat on the floor of the upstairs hallway outside my closed bedroom door, and I said, if you can hear me, copy me, and knocked 3 times. Knock. Knock, knock. And not even a second later, I got 3 sharp knocks back from inside my bedroom. That's your uncle in the wall. Knock, knock, Knock. A shiver went down my spine as I didn't expect it. Little did I know, this will come back to bite me in the ass later. So a few years go by, I'm 18, we're in our new house, still have these someone is watching me type feelings, again, only in my bedroom. And one night I'm messing about with Snapchat and my room is pitch black and I'm snapping my friends with the flash on and I catch 3 orbs in one of the photos in the corner of my room where I felt watched. That's dust. Like, it's, it's dust. I immediately sent them to my uncle. Oh, yes, your uncle, the clearly very sane man, asking if I was right. He looked at them and confirmed they were orbs as there was nothing the flash could have reflected off in the corner. Dust. Little particles of dust that, because they're so close to the camera lens, they look big. This is such bullshit. The thing is, right, I don't doubt that this person believes this is real. This is just such bullshit, though. My uncle came round and went into my room and started talking sternly, saying, leave, you're not welcome here, the whole 9 yards. 10 minutes later, he came out my room with a freaked out look on his face. He's kept up this rage bait for years. Big respect to him. He took me and my mum, his sister, outside and asked if I had done anything or had played it with anything spiritual, like a Ouija board or something. I told him about the knocks a few years ago and he instantly looked horrified. Mum stood there so confused, asked him what's wrong, and he told us I have 3 spirits in that room. One was a demon. Oh, fuck, you got a demon. Oh, that's not ideal. That's far from ideal. We freaked out panicking because what the fuck do you do in that situation? I don't know. You move house, but then if you move house, they'll just follow you. Just, I don't know, cast them out. Get an exorcism. I obviously had my mum and uncle both freak out on me, asking how I could be so stupid, etc. How could you be so stupid? Basically, when I did the knocks, I opened a portal for these spirits, inviting them in, and they clung on to me, and that's why they resided in my room. The other 2 spirits were some random guy who just got lost, and my uncle's dead twin, my auntie, who we think was trying to protect me. My uncle lit sage in my room and took me into my room and told me to face up to it and tell it to leave. It wasn't welcome, I wasn't scared, etc. Only my uncle could hear what it was saying. We spread salt on my carpet. Apparently they can't walk. So what? So these spirits have been stood fucking still for 4 years in your... How old were you when this story started? Okay, 15. So they've been stood there for like 3 years doing nothing but watching you. I reckon if they probably want to fucking leave. I don't think you're up to anything that interesting. You're doing them a favour here. We spread salt on my carpet. Apparently they can't walk on it. They're not slugs. And I slept in the living room for the next week. I was freaked out. I don't know if what we did worked. I just went along with what my uncle told us to do. My uncle told me and mum that it was calling the woman in the house bitches and seemed to be very angry at women/girls. Clearly been consuming too much Andrew Tate. My mum was told more stuff that even today my mum and uncle won't tell me. I'm now 24, but I moved out of my parents when I was 19. Can you blame me? Yeah, but they're following you. They're gonna follow you. Even now, I don't go into my old room. There's still something there. My uncle told us it's gone, but I think that's what they were hiding from me. I don't think they got rid of it. I think they just detached it from me. It's still there. I can feel it. My brother, who's 6, says he doesn't go in there because a monster growls in there at night, and my sister, who's 17, has her bedroom across my old room, and she's had a man walk into my room at night dressed in all black. Oh, that does send a shiver down my spine. So basically, don't do dumb shit you see on TV. I'm gonna say that's... I don't doubt that I don't think you're lying to me, because the word lying implies intent. I don't think you're intentionally lying to me. I think you do believe this, but I think this is complete bullshit. When I was 16, I did work experience at the Blackpool Winter Gardens Theatre, which, like most theatres, is apparently haunted. Yeah, why do ghosts always go to haunt theatres? Are they just big fans of the arts? Like, do many people die in theatres? I wouldn't have thought so. One day, I was beneath the stage with one of the workers fixing the stage floor. To get to the part of the pit, you had to go beneath it, go through a heavy soundproof door and up some old steps. During our work, we heard the door open and close, followed by footsteps that got progressively louder, assuming it was one of the other stage team or the stage manager. We announced our presence, awaiting a reply that never came. I was then requested to collect some nails to finish the job, and as I walked towards the set of stairs to leave, I suddenly felt a very cold, chill run through me. Was this a paranormal experience or a work experience prank that was never revealed to me? I guess we will never know. I reckon someone just came in and out very quickly. I don't think that's a ghost. I don't think that's firm evidence of paranormal activity. Spooky story about a phone call from the damned. Ooh. It was about 2017, a scary enough time in the world, and amusingly enough, it was nearing midnight of the 30th of October. I was also about 17 at the time. I used to have this cheap chrome skull-shaped landline phone, a decoration my mum had got me when I was younger. It wasn't plugged in or anything, just kind of sat on my chest of drawers in my bedroom. I was playing some video games on my Xbox when I suddenly hear a faint boop, boop, boop noise, almost like a hold tone. At first, I assumed it was a noise coming down the Xbox headset, but it happens again. I take my headset off and look around. It's not my phone either. It happens a third time, and I follow the noise to the skull phone, but it wasn't plugged in. How was it making a noise? To be fair, if I was a ghost and I was going to contact someone through something, it would be through an unplugged skull phone. Bear in mind, it's not even connected to a power outlet. I call my mum through and tell her. She naturally thinks I'm taking the piss. Well, the ghost wanted to be heard, and I guess because it done it again in front of her, and I'm frantically like, see, I fucking told you. We're a little spooked to say the least, but curiosity gets the better of us. We wouldn't survive in a horror movie, I guess. So we go and connect it to the cable where our landline was plugged in. Why would you need to do that if it can like sort of communicate to you via magic? Surely that's more magical than like plugging it into where the phone is. Just pick up the phone, see what happens. Where our landline is plugged in at the living room and it makes the noise again. We pick it up to listen for any noises, but there's nothing there. Mum suggested the dial back code. I can't remember the numbers exactly, but apparently on landlines that's a thing to call back whoever just called you, and we do so. I put it to my ear and listen to the phone number. It calls our home number. After a few seconds, it just cuts through to the sound of either wind or heavy breathing. I'm getting chilled down my spine. I held my breath to make sure it wasn't feedback from the phone, but the noise continues. We unplugged the phone immediately. It now sits higher on a shelf because we're afraid to throw it out at this point. Our best logical explanation was that it was picking up on some faint background signal from the weather or something, causing the noise to be set off, but I don't know. Between the timing and all the coincidences that it would require, it just feels eerie. The flats we live in are built where a dentist's office used to be, which doesn't exactly scream paranormal activity, but they absolutely have the same fear factor, I guess. I mean, they don't. Here's a pic of the phone with a convention bracelet in the mouth I just took. His name is Gary and he's much calmer now. Oh yeah, that's an ominous phone. I'll tell you what, fuck it, I believe you. I believe you on that. This happened to me when I was doing my work experience for a college course, to which I decided to do it at the local care home. I was doing health and social care. I promise I'm not a freak. Yeah, it'd be a bit weird if you were doing like, I don't know, computer science. You took work experience at an old people's home. This care home had been open for a few years, however, was built on top of some old army barracks, and I was washing an old man in the bathroom. We shouldn't have been made to do personal care as that's illegal, but we did. I'll try and spare some details because this is a long story. Lights start flickering in the hallway, blah blah. Colleague who's with me goes to check, nothing going on. I then hear an extremely loud ringing in my ears, which causes me to squint, ending up in cupping this poor old man's balls. After this, my colleague helped him get what? How does that make you cup an old man's balls? We both go separate ways. Lucky for me, I have to go to the older part of the nursing home, and the ringing is getting louder and louder as I get close to a certain door. And through the door, I saw a resident on a wheelchair wheeling by. However, this must have been my imagination. After what felt like a year, I reached the door and saw the shadow of a middle-aged man, a bit messy and not from this time whatsoever. What do you mean not from this time? Was he wearing, old-timey clothes or army clothes, perhaps? Just looking at me, and for some reason, I could not look away. Then the fire alarm went off. Don't know if that's related or not, but I like to say it wasn't. But here we are. Yeah, fuck it, I believe you. Paranormal activity as an actor. Hi, George. I work as a scare actor on a local business. We do a walkthrough of a haunted place, and I jump out as different ghosts that haunt the locations, etc., etc. We do a walk around an old tuberculosis hospital that's been converted into a public garden/park thing. That sounds really interesting. You've converted an old tuberculosis hospital into a haunted house. That's pretty cool. And at Halloween, we go down into the old boiler rooms that doubled as an overspill morgue. Oh, that's horrible. That's creepy as hell. Last year, there were these little kids' chairs laid out in rows in the far back of the room of the morgue, and my co-worker knocked them over, so we stacked them in the corner, locked up, and called it a night. The following evening, my boss and I went back down to set up, and the chairs were back in the neatly ordered rows from before we stacked them. We had the only key. The ghosties were doing your job for you, do you think? Okay, right. If it's anywhere that is going to be haunted, It's the morgue at a tuberculosis hospital. I've also heard screams from corners of the garden that no one's been in. Felt like someone was watching me and smelled old tobacco pipe smoke in a certain corner of the gardens. And the swings in the playground here move on their own. Oh, that's horrible. I know you could probably chalk a lot of the stuff I've seen and felt down to wild animals, but it creeps me the fuck out whenever I have to work down. Yeah, I believe you. I fully believe you. That's ghosties. That's ghosty activity. Oh, this is a poetic title. A Dead Queen's Cries. Hello, George. One time I went to Hampton Court. I used to go to Hampton Court Palace every Christmas Eve and do the ice skating there. Brilliant. Phenomenal. One time I went to Hampton Court Palace, the famous palace that Henry VIII lived in. And there is this hallway that the king would walk from his apartments to the chapel. This is called the processional route. Catherine Howard, Henry's fifth wife at only 17, whereas Henry was in his 50s. Nonce. Was accused of treason due to cheating on the king and ran and pleaded to the king not to accuse her of treason. She was dragged away by guards to the Tower of London as she screamed whilst being dragged down the hallway. When I visited Hampton Court, the hallway was so creepy with the uncanny portraits. At one point, I swear I heard screaming and crying, which freaked me out. Due to it only being me and my friend in the hallway, she swore she heard it too. We were apparently not crazy, as the processional route is also called the haunted hallway, where Catherine's ghost still remained eternally screaming. I believe you. Yeah, Hampton Court is known for being pretty haunted, so I believe you. So my spooky ghost story happened around 2 years ago. I was going through a hard time with my mental health. I wasn't taking proper care of myself, etc. I'm much better now. Glad to hear it. And one day I was having trouble sleeping, as in up and down all night, feeling like I was switching worlds. Then one of these specific times I woke up, I saw a lady stood over my bed. Oh, horrible. Oh, that's my worst nightmare, waking up and there's just someone like there. Oh, awful. Didn't recognize this woman and she told me to go back. Oh, fuck. Oh, no, it spoke to you. Oh, it'd be different if it just didn't say anything, if it just didn't say shit. But it was like, no, go back to sleep. Go back to sleep. Fuck that. That wouldn't do wonders for my mentee H. For some fuck-ass reason, I did. A few days later, me and my mum were looking at her photo albums. Shiver down my spine. Turns out it was her dead aunt. Used to have photo proof. I can't find it. Oh, fuck that. Yeah, that's true. I believe it. Well, I don't know definitively if it's true, but I believe you. Why not? Ouija board scare. Hey, George, to give some background to this story, I was in around year 7, and me and a friend would religiously watch this YouTuber who would at the time make a lot of Ouija board videos. Some of these videos would include getting dragged out of bed, etc., which, looking back, was very obviously fake, but we were stupid children and for some reason wanted to see if it was true. In the YouTuber's videos, he would make the Ouija board out of paper and the planchette out of a plastic water bottle, so we decided to make it and try to play. The first time we tried doing it in my house and we believed it to work, so we continued to play it despite our parents telling us to stop. Until the last time we were at her house in her lounge and her parents weren't there. We began to play it and we asked who was there. They told us that it was my deceased great-grandma who had passed away about a year ago. Wanting to know more, I'd ask it questions, personal questions, only she would know, and it was getting them right. It got to the point when the replies started getting a bit weirder. We asked if someone else had started talking, and it was one of the demons of the Ouija board pretending to be my dead grandma. At that point, as soon as it announced who it was, we got scared. At the same time, the one painting on the wall fell down. We tried to close out the game, but it wouldn't let us. Eventually, after beginning it let us close the game, we destroyed the board and haven't played since. Okay, right. That must have taken ages for this, for you to have this conversation with a demon, because aren't you like spelling out every letter one by one? That must have taken fucking forever. But also, Ouija boards, like, they're not real. Ouija boards aren't fucking real. They work because you want them to work. I think that's kind of the psychology behind them. Either that or your friend was rage baiting you. I don't believe this. This one's just called Demon in my room. Hey George, how's it going? So a couple of years back, we lived in a different house and I got the privilege of having the biggest room, only child privileges. It wasn't the ensuite or anything, it was just really fucking big. That being said, when we first moved in, you could see that the room had previously belonged to a little boy and the owner was very hush-hush and quiet about what had happened to the previous tenants. At some point, I started getting the most violent, vivid nightmares, and in every single one of them, I could see a dark entity in the background. Think big black smoky mass that exuded horrible, terrifying energy. It happened multiple nights in a row, and on one of these nights, I even experienced sleep paralysis for the first time, and I could feel the black mass surrounding me. I would wake up feeling incredibly uneasy and like I'm being watched. Needless to say, I was scared shitless. This wasn't your usual run-of-the-mill nightmares. There was something in my room, and it had bad intentions. Oh Oh dear. Being the mummy's girl that I am, I got scared and made my mum sleep in the room with me one night in the hopes that maybe my imagination was being a bit overactive. That same night, my mother had a nightmare too at the exact same time I did, but instead she dreamt of a little boy standing next to the bed. But maybe that wasn't a dream. Maybe she actually saw it. Oh. But the boy had the energy of evil and anger, according to her. I grew up in a religious family, but I'm not religious. That didn't stop me from smudging the room with sage, doing water cleansing, and sleeping with a Bible. I even got my grandfather to pray for the room. That night, I dreamt that the entity was struggling and suffocating. 2 nights later, it was gone, and I was left to finally sleep in peace. Okay, right, this is probably placebo, I would assume, because like you, in your mind, you're like, okay, these things are going to fix the problem, so you dreamt about them being fixed. I don't believe this is real. I don't believe this is true, but I believe that you experienced this. Here's one of the stories of the ghost we call Billy that haunted my house. It's a little long story. Little context about Billy. I inherited Billy from this object I got from a friend. What? You do that? You can inherit a ghost from an object? What? He was relatively chill. I would see him from time to time, mainly in the hallway or dining room. One thing about him, though, he hated my cousin and my mum's girlfriend. Clearly a bit of a homophobic ghost then. He's made things fall on the... Jesus Christ, he really doesn't like gay people. He's made things fall on them. We even launched things at them. That's so mad. You got a homophobic ghost haunting you. Jesus. They're both terrible, so I guess he was a good look at. I don't know if it has anything to do with their character. I feel as though it's probably because they're gay and he's from a different time. Gave the thing to another friend. He hated her too, not friends with her anymore. Anyways, I think this happened in 2020 or so. It was peak COVID times. No school, shitty sleep schedules and all. My cousin and my sister's boyfriend came over one night while my parents were at work. So it was me, those two, and my sister that were awake at the time, and all 4 of us were just in the living room fucking around, trying and failing to stay quiet and not to wake up my brother and grandfather. It was like 1 a.m. We heard the basement steps creaking and we instantly shut up. My grandfather lives in the basement. The room is... Why'd you shove your granddad in the basement? That's so cruel. Give him an actual bedroom. The room is directly below the living room, so he can hear our steps, screams, and music. We woke him up a lot during this era. I low-key feel bad about it sometimes, so we were all ready to prepare to apologize and lie about staying quiet. Well, like 5 minutes go by and the steps just keep going up and down the stairs. Now, not to diss my grandfather, but I know his old self cannot go up and down the stairs that fast. You can literally hear him huffing and puffing as he comes up. So like the scared teenagers we were, we made the boyfriends open the basement door. When it sounded like it was in the middle, there was nothing there. So he went down to see if my grandfather was asleep. He was. Okay, whatever, old house, we're moving a lot, probably that. That sentence doesn't make any fucking sense, but all right. The noise stops after he opens the door. A while later, 3/4 a.m., we're all scrounging around the kitchen trying to find something to eat. My cousin and sister were sitting on the counters while me and the boyfriend were cooking. We hear something running up our back concrete steps, up and down, up and down. We look out the window and there's still nothing, but the steps don't stop. We just decide not to pay attention to it, but my cousin is terrified and can't. It stops after 5 minutes. At like 6 a.m., it's front steps, basement steps, and back steps all at fucking once. We all freeze just hearing the footsteps all in sync, a lot heavier and running up and down. It goes on for what seems like forever. We all just keep looking at each other, not saying a word. When my parents' car pulls into the driveway, it all stops. Oh, Billy's clearly very scared of your parents then. My cousin makes my mum take her home immediately, sick and tired of the... Why is your mum coming home at 4 in the morning? She didn't come out for another week after that. Yeah, all right, I'll believe it. That's not a very exciting ghost story. I'm sorry to say, it's just not. Oh, okay, here we go. Hi, George. So in 2015, my grandma on my dad's side passed away at home. She had a living carer at the time who stayed on to look after my granddad. A few months after she died, she took a picture of the inside of the house, and my grandma was in the reflection looking back at her, attached a figure in the bottom right window. Wait, what are we looking at here? Oh, fuck! Oh, shit! Oh, did you see that? That's fucked up. For context, my granddad was bedbound at the time. He only survived a couple more years, so there's no way it was him. And the carer was from South Africa and not white. She had very dark hair, as well as being about 5 foot tall from my memory, all of which are different to the figure in the image. Pretty perplexing, and has defo been the cause of some mystery in our family ever since. Yeah, I believe you. I believe that 1,000,000%. Disembodied voice in my house. Oh. Hello, George. This happened to me very recently. So I moved into my current house about 4 months ago. When we moved in, the spare bedroom had a freaky haunted vibe. There was a hospital TV mounted to the wall. I'm not kidding, in that room. It always felt like someone had died in there. I was about to say that it probably someone probably had died in there. Someone was probably getting cared for in there. As a joke, me and my partner named the ghost of the house Mary. I was home alone one night and my partner was out with the boys playing Dungeons and Dragons. I was expecting him to be home around 11 p.m. When my partner comes in the house and knows I'm home alone, he always calls for me. Normally, hello or hello baby. This particular night, I was on my PC in our games room, which is upstairs. I had my headphones on, but around 11 p.m. I heard a distinct hello baby from downstairs in my partner's voice. I called back. No answer. I went downstairs to check if he was home. Sometimes he doesn't hear me from the porch, but there were no lights on. The door was locked, and when I checked outside, his car wasn't even on the drive. To put it lightly, I nearly shit myself when he actually came home and opened the door to the room I was sat in. Really freaked me out. I've always heard strange noises in this house, including the bedroom door handle rattling in the middle of the night, but this takes the cake. Yeah, all right, I believe you. To be fair, I think I hear shit all the time. Like, whenever I'm drifting off to sleep, sometimes I'll hear like a voice just saying some shit to me, and I'll be like, fucking hell. But then I kind of just put that down to my imagination. Right, well, I'm gonna leave it there for this video. Like and subscribe, or you're going to be haunted on this Halloween.